News out of Citigroup this morning. They're cutting 11,000 jobs in what is the first big step with the new CEO, Michael Corbett. Anthony, not such a big deal? Big deal?
No, not really. I mean, it's a fraction of the number of people that actually got employed. And the important thing is
4% of the global.
give or take. And the important thing is it's Corbett's first move. But it's not as if he's doing anything particularly special. Vikram Pant, his predecessor, was cutting jobs all over the place for the last 2 or 3 years. It was part of the big strategy. Let's make sure we get this to where we want the bank to be. Now, what they haven't done, though, and what Pandit wasn't doing, was saying, well, look, what other businesses do we not want to be in anymore? If you look at other banks, UBS, even Credit Suisse, Morgan Stanley are saying, look, what do we shrink here and what do we really want to do? The only thing that Citi's really shrinking at the moment is retail presence in a few countries and a few cities in the US.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing radical about this. This is a continuation of Vikram Pandit's strategy. You know, arguably there might have been some tinkering, whether it was 11,000, 15,000, 9,000, whatever. There's been a cost reduction strategy over time. I would imagine this is basically him wielding the machete that Vikram had basically sharpened. There's nothing radical. There's no change in direction. There's no change in strategy.
You wouldn't have necessarily expected that quite so soon, though,
no,
would you?
not so soon. So let's just be mindful that this is a continuation of Vikram Pandit's strategy. This is not yet Mike Corbett coming in and saying, okay, taking the reins of the bank and deciding, here's where we're going to go. I'm going to lead. It's not going to endear him to staff. I mean,
look at what he's cutting. A great deal of this is going to come from back offices at the investment bank, retail bank, and even corporate head office.
They always say that it's back office.
They always say, but the thing is, they're really willing to push this. Now, of course, Corbett is quite well known as being a good operations guy, although he also worked in various parts of the bank as well. But don't forget what Citigroup is. It's a bank that's managed to come a cropper in just about every single crisis. And so Corbett's first move is to cut even more people from the back office, where you're hoping that the I's get dotted and the T's get crossed. I mean, it's a little bit worrying.
I don't know. I mean, I think the big question, for Citigroup, though, even though, by the way, as you pointed out earlier in the year, that they could be the surprise performer in the banking industry. Indeed, it has outperformed Wells Fargo. It's outperformed J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley.
From what? On what basis?
On the stock.
Okay.
The stock has been it's done pretty well. Now a lot of that's come since the change in management, but a lot of it actually came before. I mean, it's been a pretty good year for Citi all in all, or Citi shareholders all in all. But there is this question about Citigroup. It's subscale in retail businesses, not just in the United States and around the world. It's subscale in credit cards. Its investment bank is pretty strong. And it's GTS, I guess it's called this global
Treasury
financial
background.
This is huge. This is a jewel. Everybody wants this. I mean, there's a question of whether they can unlock value in the way that we've discussed through spinning.
Well, we'll leave it there. We'll expect quite a bit more strategic decisions, probably from Michael Corbett next year, and we'll be back with more breaking views tomorrow.